it was like opening the door and it was nothing. Stuff stacked out to the walls. And he says, well, there's a little of this and a little of that, you know, and back in the corner there's even a car. We dug this out, and when we started doing the research, we found out this is a very, very unique car. It was with a fun history.
Yesterday we went to meet a guy named Kyle who owns a street rod shop in St. George, Utah. And we went there, and he's got some project cars that are owned by individuals that have interesting stories on some of them. And they're going to meet us here. So we were there yesterday, we made the appointments, we're going back today. Ooh. It's supposed to be Kyle's. People around town told us about a guy named Kyle, and he builds street rods. He's a fabricator in a shop right over there, 100 feet from where I'm standing. But Marty does the paint work on this side, and this is your body shop business, right?
My dad taught me everything I know.
And we found out that Marty has a cool car that we don't, a vehicle, I won't say car, that we don't see very often on Bonfire Hunter or at car shows or in junkyards or anywhere, because there's just not that many around. So Marty, thank you for inviting us here to reveal a Corvair Greenbriar. So this is a Corvair, what year?
It's a 64.
And how long have you had this?
8 years.
Wow.
This is the one I've refused to sell.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Did you buy it locally?
Bought it near Hawthorne, California.
How did you find out about it?
I was looking on Craigslist to replace a Volkswagen bus I sold. I said, get out of town. Chevy made one? Why would I buy a Volkswagen when I can have a Chevy?
Yep.
So here I am.
Was it in this condition, or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've just now gotten started on it.
Do you remember what you paid for it?
Paid $1,400, which was a little too much, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I had to have it though. It was too cool.
I think you got a deal. So what's your intention? You gonna restore it?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the motor, right?
Yes, a Corvair guy I know said the transmission's fine if it shifts from low to high. And the transaxle's out of a 61, so it's got a high gear, which is good for around here. Mm-hmm. And the engine had 2 cylinders, had cracked rings, so I fixed it old school. I just pulled it apart, checked the clearance on the rings, did a little filing and sanding, cleaned it up, and put new rings and put it back together.
So is this like working on a Volkswagen?
Very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got jugs and liners and kind of.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And you'd never done work on a Corvair before?
No.
Right? So are you going to paint it?
Yes.
What color would it be? I guess it was originally this color, right?
Something similar to that. Yeah, I have color sheets on the bench back there that my wife is picking the color out.
Oh, cool.
Because I've picked the color out on the last few cars we've had, so it's her turn.
So this has got an automatic on the dashboard.
Yes. No park.
That's a shift lever right here. So is park all the way up?
I believe reverse is all the way up.
Reverse all the way up.
And then neutral, drive, and low.
Oh, okay. That's the shifting mechanism, right?
So adjust your parking gear, or parking brake, boys and girls.
Yeah, really, no kidding. Huh. So you have a big family. You told me you have how many kids?
10.
Well, can you fit 10 in
Still
here?
6 at home.
Well, you can fit 6.
Believe it or not, this has 3 bench seats. It'll seat 9. Yeah, I had a contest with my wife quite a few times. She had a Toyota Sienna. I said, this thing blows doors on this Sienna. As it holds 2 more people, has place for groceries, gets about 6 to 8 miles more a gallon, but I never finished it, so.
So, is it pretty solid floors and whatever?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's fairly rust-free. The only rust we found on it, Kyle fixed the drip rail down that whole side.
Uh-huh.
When I bought it, I'm checking it all out, looking, it's looking fine. Oh, this thing is great. I bought it, I get it home, and I'm looking and lifting, and it's crunchy over there, and I see somebody had racks on it for surfboards.
I think for $1,400 you got to steal it.
Yeah.
So this is where the engine goes, huh?
Similar to a Volkswagen.
Yeah, so it's got the swing axles to stay in place.
Yeah, they're swing axles. It's not independent.
So
End up with a problem.
Is that the second paint job, this dark green?
I'm not sure what that's all about. Yeah, it's interesting. The engine, I went to see what it was. So I looked on the block where the number's supposed to be. The number's gone. So being in Southern California, it might be.
It's probably a Charles Manson car or something.
Might be a hot engine. So, really good.
So where are you at right now? Finishing up the engine?
Yeah. I just have to assemble everything. Rebuilt the carburetors.
Yep.
And I actually bought a book and the kits. So
Oh, yeah. Is it any
I'm
big
not
deal
gonna
that
guess.
it's like a Volkswagen, jack it up from the bottom?
yeah, the engine goes in 3 bolts.
3 bolts.
3 bolts.
No kidding.
Yeah, that makes me
But
a
the
little
engine
nervous.
transmission together goes up?
Transaxle.
Yep.
Altogether. Yeah, the neatest thing I like about this van over Volkswagen bus or even the minivans nowadays, both back windows, not the quarter windows, but both back windows roll all the way down.
Well, thank you, sir. Thanks for sharing your little pride and joy. When we got here, asked everybody we could, who are the car guys in town? Who can we talk to? And we got this guy's name several times, Kyle. And Kyle owns a street rod shop in St. George and builds amazing things, you know, like this chopped 39 Lincoln 2-door fastback, which is just killer. We asked Kyle to tell us about this Buick he's standing in front of here. And by the way, thanks for taking your time off.
Yeah, thank
know,
you.
You're not making $100 an hour while we're here talking to you. So why is it's a 4-door? Why is this an interesting car?
You know, this car is a one family owned. My landlord, his grandfather, went to Detroit with his daughter, which is my landlord's mother. He wanted to pick this car up with 0 miles. He didn't want it to come on a transport. He wanted to pick up the car with 0 miles on it from the factory. He wanted it to roll off the assembly line into his hands with the options he wanted, and he actually did it.
And what year? 50?
This is a 57 Buick Roadmaster. The different things that are on this car is the one-piece back window, which a lot of these were the 3-piece. Yeah. Because it's a one-piece back window and because it's a no-post hardtop, this actually comes with an 1 3/4 chop compared to like the Special, which is pretty cool. And I think with the 4-door, it actually helps because the car seems a little unbalanced in a 2-door. It doesn't seem quite long enough. But, you know, whatever it would have been, we would have still been restoring it because it's their car.
So it's never been out of the family. Did he order it from a local Buick dealership?
I don't know on that. I did check into it, and all I know is that he went to Salt Lake, got on a train with his daughter. They went to Detroit. She wrote a diary on the whole trip. And so there's a diary on the whole trip of the car going to get it. And he went to Detroit, straight to Detroit, went to the factory, did get it right off the assembly line.
And so they drove it back, and that was
back.
their family car for forever and ever and ever until, when did it come off the road? Do you have any idea?
There was actually an engine fire that actually stopped this one.
Oh.
It took most of the paint off the passenger side fender, some of the hood.
Really? So it sat in the backyard then?
Yeah, it actually sat behind this shop.
Because he owns the building. So this car, really, it's been in this one town its whole life.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Very much so.
And you showed us a picture over there.
Yeah, it's in front of my landlord's grandfather's favorite restaurant, Dick's Cafe, which was here on St. George Boulevard.
And it's on the original chassis?
Yes, most of it is the original chassis. It is 4-linked on air ride, and the front suspension's actually S10 with like tube control arms and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But the original motor with the original heads, still basically a numbers matching.
So the color scheme, tell me how it's going to work.
So the mint green is it is the original color, but we're doing it in a satin. The whole build has been a practical build. You know, there's nothing that we spent a lot of money on here. The subframe came out of a S10, and it was when recycling was high. Mm-hmm. And so we actually recycled the truck for more than we paid for the truck.
Oh, wow.
So it's Camaro rear end, disc brake rear end. It has a Bendenson adapter to a turbo 350 trans. But the motor in the S10 chassis or subframe is actually about 3/4 of an inch, 1 inch higher than it was originally. It's almost in its same position, close enough to where it has kind of hard linkage for the throttle, and that actually still lines up. So,
That's good.
yeah, it works out.
Well, thank you. I hope one day I'm back here and I can see it done. I want to start with shaking your hand, Dave. Thank you for agreeing to meet with us today after your day job.
My pleasure.
And tell us about a car that I'm totally intrigued with. So
It's kind of a unique car. It's an Atlas, actually. It's not an Allied, but it's a very early version. This was a splash mold taken off of a Cisitalia. Piero Taruffi dominated the Le Mans race in 40s with a car like this, and Pete Peterson bought one of the 12 that Piero Taruffi.
now this is Pete Peterson, Robert Peterson, who
Yeah,
Peterson
yeah,
Publishing,
right.
Hot Rod magazine.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So we don't know if it was voluntary or just something that the guys just did, but they took a splash mold off of this car. There's actually one of the cars is in the Museum of
Museum of Modern Art.
Modern Art in New York. So it's still there and it's still beautiful.
It's in '51. This was chosen by curators at the Museum of Modern Art to be one of the 8 most beautiful cars in the world.
It really is. It has just beautiful lines, very classic lines. So they took a splash mold off of it, and then they said, hey, maybe we could start building these cars. And so we don't know who actually built the frame. We think that the guy that later raced it at Bonneville built this frame, but it's made out of elliptical tubing that was these struts for the World War II gliders, the troop gliders. And so if you look at this elliptical tubing that builds the frame, it's very, very strong, very, very light.
Isn't that right?
And they have, these are torsion bars
I see that.
that come back to arms here. And then if you look back here to the rear end, this is a Ford Banjo style rear end, but they took the drive shafts that would normally be up there by the transmission, and they scabbed them onto the sides of this Banjo rear end to make a swing axle rear end.
So do you have any idea who built this chassis?
I think it was, I'm sorry, I forget the guy's name.
Okay.
It starts with an H, Herzog or something like that that built it. They did the same thing up front. It's basically a solid front axle, only they broke it in the middle and put big ball joints in the big tie rod ends. So it's a swing axle. Yeah, so the car's unloaded right now. There's not much weight on it right now, so all the wheels are kind of cambered under. But it's fully adjustable. It's got torsion bar front and rear. Kind of a long way to go to get their steering from the center.
Kidding.
But they put it in the centers because they didn't want to have a lot of bump steer as it went through the suspension cycles. Originally, it had a Duesenberg straight 8 engine that they'd cut in half to make a 4-cylinder double overhead cam engine. They had to make a billet crank in order to make this work, and so they ran that a little bit, and they had some issues, as you can imagine. And then later on went to a flathead when they raced. They did one sports car race with the flathead, and so that's what we got it. We got it with a flathead in it, and we found the car. It was a gentleman was getting out of vintage racing. He's done with it, and we bought a whole garage full of stuff. And the story goes, he says, we said, what's in here? It was like opening the door and it was nothing. It was like you hadn't even opened the door. There's stuff stacked out to the walls. And he says, well, there's a little of this and a little of that, and back in the corner there's even a car. And so we hadn't even seen it. We didn't even know what it was. And so we gave him what we thought was a fair price, and we dug this out. And when we started doing the research, we found out this is a very, very unique car. It was with a fun history.
Yeah. But how do you know about the Duesenberg engine cut in half? That's insane.
So in doing our research, we were able to backtrack, and we found this car in the Forgotten Fiberglass website.
Jeff Hacker. Yeah.
Is that
Jeff Hacker runs that, yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's, and we thought, hey, there's a car like ours. We thought it was very similar to ours, and the more we did the research, the more we found out that was actually this car. So,
isn't that something?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody really put some thought into this frame. This is just amazing.
Isn't it amazing? It really is, and it's light. The thing doesn't hardly weigh anything. It's amazing. This is very thick fiberglass. This is the early Fiberglass was just all layup, no chop gun.
Yep.
So they're very thick and heavy, but the chassis itself almost weighs nothing.
So this was in your family for how long?
Maybe 20 years.
You don't own it now, though?
Yeah, we own it.
Oh, you still own
Yeah,
it? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
sure.
So you're restoring it for yourself?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah. So what kind of power will you have in this car? What
Really flathead.
okay. A V860 or a V85?
It'll be an 85, but it'll be, we get about 200, 212 horsepower out of our built flatheads. So it'll be pretty peppy.
And what kind of gearbox?
3-speed.
Yeah, so you're going old traditional.
Oh yeah. That's what was in it. We gotta take it back to that.
So will you vintage race this or something?
Probably.
Ah, cool.
Probably. The cockpit is very small. I don't know that I'm going to fit in it.
Yeah.
And so we may have to get somebody smaller than me to drive it, but.
So here's the hood for it, I guess.
Yep.
And the door. So that's the car was that color.
Yes. Yes, and it's a little faded, of course, but yes. The carbs stuck out through the hole. The Duesenberg engine was a little bit smaller, so it didn't have that. But
what an intriguing car, man.
if you can find us a Duesenberg that we can cut in half.
That might be a toughie. Yeah.
So what else can I tell you? That was kind of a blast,
Well,
you
you know
guys.
what? That's about all we need.
I
Well, let me say this. Somebody watching this video might have a Duesenberg engine under their workbench. And if you do, we don't need the whole one. We just need half of it.
just cut the center cylinders out. We just want a 4-banger out of it.
So is that what they did? They cut the middle cylinders and move the front and the back? Very cool. I'm
It's,
totally impressed with this car, with your family history. That's really cannons. I know them well. Man, thank you.
Do you want more information we can get to you?
Okay, here's the deal. I'm talking to Jordan now, not this group of people. He's got vintage footage of this car racing. Oh, yeah. Would you like that? Yes. Okay. So this ran Bonneville?
Yes, once, and a road race once.
And a road race and a drag race? Or you don't know?
Perhaps, I don't know.
Isn't that something? And it was a street car. You know, most of these cars were never finished. Like guys started them and they just
Right, and
tracked it.
that was exactly right.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the cars that were started were never finished, and that was kind of what was unique about some of the other cars that we have in our family is that they finished them. The Cannon Mark I that we showed at Pebble Beach.
I know Cannon. So
That's
was
my
your-
dad. That was my dad.
I remember seeing that running in Monterey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, man.
My pleasure. Good to meet you guys.
Love it.
Rick Cannon, he's my racing partner, and he was my father's Ted Cannon and my father were partners, and Rick Cannon and I are partners in all of this madness.
Second generation.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
too cool, man.
Yeah.
So do you have all the gauges for this thing?
Yeah, yeah. He's got all that.
Handles.
We've got all that. We're having Marty do the body work, get it straightened out, and then it'll go back to Rick, and Rick will put it back together.
And what color will it be painted?
That same blue.